call this meeting to order. This is August 26, 2025, the Building Standards Commission meeting. So we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll do the Texas flag.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
We'll open this public hearing. We'll have the minutes. If y'all looked over the minutes, the approval of the minutes.
Yes, ma'am.
Do I have a approval of the minutes?
A motion to approve the minutes from the previous meeting.
I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second? All right, Travis, thank you. Oh, yes, sorry. Thank you. Thanks for always keeping me. Do I have a approval of the minutes? Y'all will vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Any corrections? Okay. All right, we'll start with the regular agenda. Consider appeal by the ETX Park Fund Number 1 LP of a decision of the city that sewer utility extensions proposed alongside a property being developed and generally located on Park Street near the intersection of Park Street and Martinsville Street shall be required to extend at least to the midpoint of the developer's frontage. And this has been withdrawn, but do you have anything, comments you want to say?
No, that's correct, Chair. This item was withdrawn by the appellant, so it will not be considered tonight.
Okay, all right. Then we have B, consider possible action on proposed ordinance updates amending Chapter 14 Building and Building Regulations, Article 8, Minimum Urban Standards Code, Division 4, Unsafe Structures of the Code of Ordinance of the City of Nacogdoches, Texas, providing a severability clause, providing a continuation clause, providing a repeal clause, and providing an effective date. Executive Director of Development, Infrastructure, and City Attorney.
Thank you, Chair. Mike New, Executive Director of Development and Infrastructure for the city. This item is more than anything else a housekeeping item for us. I think after our April meeting, and you saw the minutes of that meeting, we had a lot of items on that agenda, and prior to that, I don't think the Building Standards Commission had met in maybe 2 years. It did kind of reveal some things that we thought probably needed a little bit better structure within Chapter 14. So I'm going to walk through these changes, these red light changes. If you weren't able to pull it up from the agenda packet, we'll just kind of walk through it page by page. But I'll give you the overview, which you'll see in the item report. Mostly we're removing some outdated references in terms of state code, where we talk about VTCA versus Texas local government code. Other headings and titles that are pulled from that state code, we're just updating those to reflect what the current language states. Creation of a separate standards section for declaring unsafe conditions. We've had building structures that you would declare unsafe, but unsafe conditions on a lot, hazardous environment or hazardous conditions within an environment on a particular lot, which we did present to you in a couple of cases at our last meeting. We're just clarifying those as two distinct items, and that those would be handled very distinctly with either our building official or code official or both. Making it clear in the code to give us direction and give you as a commission direction upon any appeals or considerations that you would make on those particular items, if there are some in the future. Procedures for determination and abatement, similar, just drawing out what those determinations would be. A real key one here, aside from some of the cleanup, is clarifying the commission's order authority. This would not be something that would, after the commission's review, be considered by the council. It would be reviewed by judicial third party as an appellate party. So although it does have some of that language as Building Standards Commission or council, Building Standard Commission, especially if we're following state guidelines, is the authority, the appeal authority or the review authority for these building items that come before you. So rather than carrying that to council, we didn't want to create any gray areas there. We've simply eliminated that and designated the judicial authority there. So we can jump right in. I'll walk through these fairly quickly. On the first page of your red line version, you should have both a red line and a clean version, just showing you what the proposed code would look like with those improvements. On your red line, we've removed titles such as home rule municipality. Those titles within State Local Government Code Chapter 54 don't state of home rule municipality. They don't state VTCA anymore, so we've removed those from our code. The next page in green, that's showing a new section. This is where we've added a section to specify declaring unsafe conditions on property as opposed to buildings being substandard. And so we provided some guidance there for how the commission would review unsafe conditions on property. In addition to that, we've made some section number changes to account for that additional section. Jump over to page 3. We've called out some headings for these sub-items for inspection, notice requirements, just to clarify what those sections are intended to convey within the code. Under notice requirements sub A, B, C, D, and E, we provided some specification there that there be statements provided and scope of work and proof of items that are just simply communicated with property owners and any other parties that may be affiliated with these potential actions and considerations. The 10th day notice on Part D, we already follow those similar guidelines with our council and our planning and zoning commission meetings and in any hearings that are associated. So we're trying to be consistent there by calling that out within this section. If you look on page 4, the next page, again, disposition of order, about filing final orders, findings above that by majority vote. These are all procedures the commission follows. We're simply outlining those in specificity within the code. If you continue on to page 5, non-compliance of a lien holder, and if you have questions, this is more Jerry's ball of wax, but expenses incurred by the city would be filed in accordance with other sections listed in the code, particularly section 34-33. So making sure that nothing within this section or this chapter conflicts with other code chapters, particularly chapter 34. Continuing on, you can see where we've moved standards for declaring unsafe conditions to more closely align that with substandard buildings on page 6 of this red line version. And then lastly, the judicial review section. We made sure under civil penalties to remove counsel. Counsel is really not an appeal authority here for Building Standards Commission. It does go to a third-party judicial review if there's an appeal on a Building Standards Commission action. That's the red lines in a nutshell. It looks like probably a lot more than it is because most of it is cleanup, but I'm happy to answer any questions, and Jerry's here as well if you have any legal questions about the changes.
No, but I do have one comment.
Yes, ma'am.
I can get back to it. I know it says that you send it by certified mail or whatever, and from my time here, I've noticed that a couple of people have said, well, I didn't get it mailed. Is there a way of saying that we follow up with a phone call or make sure that they get, did you get this or whatever, so that there's no...
If I can, I'm going to put her on the spot because she's here. I'm going to call up Angela Sal because she facilitates these certified letters. She facilitates a majority of the communication. And Don does some of this as well, but her expertise in communicating with these property owners is beyond my own. If you'll come up, Angela. And she can walk you through what that certified letter means, and that is our proof of receipt.
Right, no,
for
I
these
definitely
property
think we
owners.
need to send that. I just didn't know if we call. I know that she has stated several times, I called and personally talked to them.
Angela Sal, City Code Enforcement. Hi,
Hi.
everybody. Yes, Sally Ann, what I do, I normally send regular mail and a certified piece of mail. I will get the return back from the certified. Also, staff will post a notice on the structure, or somewhere close to the structure as we can get it.
Okay.
That's, and, we have at some point in time spoke with someone, maybe a family member, but all that would be in my notes.
Right.
And for clarification, I believe it was mentioned earlier, maybe it slipped me, but I understand the ones that are crossed out in red, the text that is crossed out with red, but what about the red text that's not crossed out and underlined? What was the reasoning for that, again?
Can you, which part, or is it just in general?
So, yes, sir, whenever, I see the red line, that's the text that's crossed out in red and marked through, but then there's text in red that's underlined instead.
So anything in red is going to be different from what the current code shows.
Okay.
So there may be sections that are crossed out, either they're migrating to another location, and they'll appear in red if they're moved to a different location.
Okay,
So,
okay.
all the black text hasn't changed. The red text that's lined through was removed.
Right.
Red text that is not lined through is inserted.
Oh, okay, okay.
And the green text, you want to,
The green text was that, and a whole
Right.
section that moved, so we could have made that red too, but that was a whole section that just migrated further up on the chapter.
Okay, so whenever it says such notice shall be deemed to have been served by its publication in a newspaper of general circulation, so that goes to your point, I believe, where if it does get returned, that the certified mail gets returned, and in that case, because it's in the newspaper, it's considered served, correct?
Yes, so and that's correct. We do take multiple approaches to reaching out to the public and the property owners prior to these actions or hearings by the commission. So yes, public notice is in the paper, something we do before and after
Right.
orders of the commission. And then certified letter we'll always do for these type of actions. But in addition to that, we do, really on a customer service level, we try to reach as many of the contacts that we have on file to notify the property owners.
Thank you for clarifying that for me, I appreciate it.
Jared, did you have something you wanted to say?
Oh. Jerry Baker, City Attorney. Good afternoon, Commissioners. I just wanted to point out that already in the current code, there is an alternative to service or notice by certified mail. You can serve them personally. So that's an option. But again, as was pointed out, if certified mail or personal service is you're not able to do that, you can serve them, so to speak, by publishing in the newspaper the notice. So that's provided for under the new 2D under there. And essentially that mirrors the notice requirements that you would have in any kind of civil litigation or anything of that nature. So if you're unable to either serve somebody by mail or other means of service, you can publish it in the paper. So that's consistent with that.
Right, well, I noticed that so many other cities or whatever, because our paper's not something that comes out daily or whatever.
Correct.
That some cities are putting it on their website as a link or whatever, and I didn't know if that's the future for us or what y'all are thinking.
Is there a length of time after it's been published in the newspaper before action by the board or the city can be taken?
It's just whenever the hearing is set, as under now subsection 3, that will be noticed, as part of the notice, that date will be included. But notice that it has to, if you're going to publish it in the newspaper, it has to be at least 10 days before the hearing date.
Okay, that was my question.
If that answers your question,
Yeah.
yeah, okay. And a lot of these additions that was pointed out are trying to mirror as close as possible what's in the local government code.
Right.
And we just wanted to clarify that, so there wasn't any inconsistency with that.
No, I'm glad to see clarification on, structures and lots and stuff like that.
Yes.
So, yes. Any other questions? Do you have any other comments?
No, I will,
just for the good of the commission, there are some legislative changes that have or will impact public meetings, public notice requirements at the state level just in this last 89th session. It doesn't really change our current practice. We typically again, council, planning and zoning, most public meetings, particularly our quasi-judicial bodies, we are sending out notices, particularly for public hearings, well in advance. Typically, it's between 10 and 15 days. Sometimes it might be a little more. Because this commission doesn't meet as regularly as planning and zoning or the council, we don't have to fit it within necessarily as tight a window between meetings or agendas. So we could always be a little bit further ahead with any hearings or actions of this committee. So, but we do follow state guidelines for public notices.
Okay,
And that's all.
okay, any questions for,
I had a quick one for Mr. Baker regarding the terminology and I guess the definition of that. So in section 14, subsection A, the addition, on page 2, when it says that the accumulations of refuse, vegetation, or other matter that creates breeding and living places for insects and rodents and may order abatement of said nuisance. So what about, say, feral animals? Maybe not rats, maybe not, what about cats or something like that?
Well, if those cats would be, any kind of, creating any kind of, infestation with, whatever, I can't even think off the top of my head right now, but that would probably create an issue there.
Okay.
As far as just being a feral cat, by itself, I don't think that would constitute an unsafe condition on the property. That's something for animal services to address.
Okay, yeah, because the whole thing, say somebody has a neighbor or somebody that has, and that neighbor feeds feral cats. Those feral cats carry diseases. So in that case, if they're not
established, now, I would think it would take some time to establish, that criteria, to meet that criteria to fall under this provision. Because you would have to show more than just that there was a lot of wild cats being fed. Okay, so you would have to show, some kind of condition that would cause that property to meet the unsafe condition standard, both under our ordinances and under state law. And so it's going to be more than just that, but it's probably a starting place, at least.
Okay.
Just make sure I'm understanding correctly. The green text was not edited. It was just moved in location within the structure, and then the red was those couple 4 words were the only ones in that section that was edited.
That's correct. So essentially what it was really moved to ensure that there was not a misunderstanding about that these are 2 separate standards that we're looking at here, but the procedures that follow are going to be the same. Okay, so the way it's currently set up in our ordinance, the standard for unsafe conditions fell after the whole procedure. So it was kind of confusing if you're reading through our ordinance, just going by numbers. You're like, well, what's the procedure if you're looking for an unsafe condition? Now, we did it, the same way, but we just wanted to make it clear as possible that there's not a separate type of procedure if you're going to go under unsafe conditions. You're going to follow the same type of procedure. It's just a different standard for declaring an unsafe condition versus a substandard dwelling.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
okay, are there any other questions? No? I have a motion to accept.
Second.
Who did the first? Oh, do we need to?
We recommend, this is in our item report, that the actions proposed would either be recommend to City Council the ordinance amendments as proposed, or recommend to City Council certain ordinance amendments as discussed. And if there aren't any changes, it would be the first one.
Okay, so we recommend that that the changes be to the. As proposed.
Yes,
Okay.
motion to recommend to city council ordinance amendments as proposed.
Okay. All right, do I have a second?
I'll second that. Who made the
I made the
motion?
motion. Had a second, a third, or no?
No, just,
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, all accepted. Do I need to close this public hearing now?
no public hearing, we're just ending the meeting.
Okay.
Adjourned.
Oh, I'm closing this at 4:21.